Hi, welcome to Film Friday, and today I will be reviewing a film about a teen who travels to the past and tries to get his parents to hook up before he won't exist in the future. That's right, I'm talking about Back to the Future. But why is Back to the Future so perfect? Is it because of its pop culture references, characters, set pieces, iconic lines, and in general, a good story? And can this film even be faulted? And why does this formula still hold up today and is one of the best films of all time? Alright, so let's dive right on into the story. The film takes place in the year 1985 and follows the life of 80s teen Marty McFly. Marty McFly is just your average 80s teen. He plays guitar, has a girlfriend, rides a skateboard, and he strives to being a musician. He wants to do this because he sees his family as unsuccessful and hasn't achieved anything. At night, Marty meets up with his friend Doc in a parking lot to test his newest invention. These days, a dynamic between two friends like that usually wouldn't work, but in Back to the Future it just works. You wouldn't even question it. The following events take place. Doc is shot by terrorists, and Marty travels back in time to the year 1955, where he bumps into his parents. He accidentally stops them from meeting, and instead his mother falls in love with him. He then has to try and get his dad to go out with his mum, go to a dance so he can go back to the future and time will go back to itself. In context, the story is quite simple, but it's just tackling that question, what if you knew your parents when you were the same age? But let's talk about Marty and how he is a plot device for the film. A way for a story to work is a plot device, and throughout the film, Marty is a plot device in the way he tries to make things better, but accidentally makes things worse, unintentionally. For example, when Marty goes to get George to speak to Lorraine in the cafe and is interrupted by Biff, Marty is the one who saves the day, and that makes Lorraine like Marty even more. Marty is a trigger for the plot to go forward. Without him, the film would suffer, and it wouldn't work if all these situations Marty got himself into were smooth sailing. And that's where I think his character develops the most. When Marty travels to the 50s, he sees his parents. He always thought they were just the same people, but was mistaken. George was someone who was bullied, and that reflects himself in 1985, where he's still being picked on by Biff. Lorraine is someone who says that she was never into boys at Marty's age, but when Marty travels to the 50s, he realises that his mother was the complete opposite. She's wild. She's underage drinking, smoking, and she's totally into boys. Sometimes you even wonder if Marty's going to get himself out of these situations, but always does. I also really like when Marty went back to the future, how his parents were now successful and living in a nice home with well-raised children. It's kind of cool how Marty changed all of these events in only 1 week he was there. And when you think about it too hard, the Marty that we see at the end of Back to the Future who jumps into the time machine is not the same Marty we see at the start of the film. The Marty that we see would have been a Marty that was well raised with supporting and loving parents. Michael J. Fox does this performance really well. Even though he was 24 at the time, he does his great performance of trying to play a teen. And because he had to play his character on Family Ties during the day and do Back to the Future at night, he only got a few hours sleep. And it's incredible that he would still be able to hold up and give his all in his performance. Even the effects in this movie look quite well done. Even though the film was made 35 years ago, the effects still hold up. Even though it might seem like there are a fair few effects in Back to the Future, there are very few, and they were done very well. Another thing in this movie that's so great is the music. When you hear this music in the film, you know that it's Back to the Future. But now I have to answer that question. Can you fault Back to the Future? And to that I say, not really. It is basically perfect. I mean, a few of the effects and continuity errors don't hold up today, but we're focusing on the script, and I think the script is very well done. With its relatable characters and incredible direction, this movie really holds up as being one of the best films of all time. Now, I know a lot of people want a remake or a reboot of this film, but I really don't want them to. And the directors also say they don't. When you make a remake of a film, you really want to try and make things better. But with Back to the Future, you can't really. It stands out as its own thing. People have tried to come as close as Back to the Future, but never have. Although recently there was a Back to the Future musical playing in London, carrying on the story of Back to the Future but in musical form. Overall, Back to the Future is an amazing movie that is perfect for the whole family and any age group, and I would definitely recommend it. Thank you so much for watching, guys. This is my first review on the channel and I really enjoyed making it. If you want me to review other movies, please comment down below. Make sure to subscribe and like this video, and I'll see you next Friday.